So this film, what do we do?
A film.
What do we do about this movie? I'll tell you this.
Tell me.
For about 3 or 4 minutes, as the movie opens, I seriously thought to myself, "Is this the most perfect movie opening ever?"
What?
I thought it was
non-stop pantyhose heads just coming at you.
Before then.
What was before? Oh,
this
yeah, the
thumping
pizza
80s
opening.
music with everybody just joyously eating pizza wherever you go.
I did
and
like
then
that.
Kino, the martial arts expert pizza deliveryman.
Fat shame someone?
I'd say right up until the fat shaming, I was like, this, wow, I love the font on screen. I love the music. I love the looks of 1990s New York.
It was very...
This is peak 80s, even though it's 1991.
It had a very Beverly Hills Cop sound to it.
Yeah.
You wouldn't know.
I know what Beverly Hills Cop sounds like.
Fine.
And it's so joyous and I'm like, wow, maybe this movie is going to be great because this is some great
It was quite the intro.
And I'll say this as well.
Okay.
I will say this as well. This is a really bad movie.
Fucking
I did not enjoy it. However, there's a lot of good stuff about it.
What?
And I feel like with a few minor adjustments, this could be a really good movie.
But you are out of your fucking mind. Okay, yeah, well, let's replace all the turtles with things that are interesting, and then replace the little sidekick kid with a guy I can like, and then maybe April with someone I could picture talking to and not wanting to punch right in the face. And the rat, let's just kill him. Let's not make him alive at all. And the bad guys, maybe believable. Maybe just...
No, this does not have to be believable.
It's something I could actually get mad at. These guys are adorable.
Which is... I think that's the point. I think that this movie is a really good execution of a vision of a sort of tone where nothing is really dangerous. Everything's a little bouncy and fun and... I hate this fucking word, but sugar high-y. Like... And sort of manic teenage boy energy, which again, I hate teenage boys. But I think this is a good execution of that sort of tone.
Yes, it struck a very video game tone where there's an endless supply of faceless bad guys who can fall over with one punch.
Mm-hmm.
Even though you're made of
fucking... And they won't even attack you. Where villains won't even attack you. Like they'll...
Wait their turn.
They'll wait their turn, or if you stop to make a joke at them, they're going to stop and listen. I don't know. It's charming-ish, but the characters' personalities are so off-putting. But I don't feel like you would have to change very much to make them not off-putting. Well, I don't know what.
Putting any thought at all into their one-liners. Like, if they're going to be not deep characters who don't talk a lot, fine, but, like, try to make it funny. Were they trying?
I think they were. Like, you keep saying, put some thought into it. I watched a, like, sort of making of, and, like, it seemed like a ton of care went into making this movie.
Well, that's a real shame. And they really stole their own thunder by having someone excellent in martial arts be this, like, stand-in kid delivery pizza boy guy. It was like watching Keanu Reeves do his action sequences, which are so fast, so amazing, so fluid, that it ruins it for any other actor who really works their ass off to try and do their own action. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm trying to think of another example, but anyone who's trained for a fight scene, I can't believe anything that's not Keanu Reeves. And that's how this kid made me feel. His fighting was amazing. And so the turtles look like, no!
This kid is Kino, who actually was under the costume of Donatello in the first movie, and they thought he was so good, we need to take him out of a costume.
There are people in those costumes?
So the way it works is there's people in the body wearing the costumes, and then the heads, like the basically the face, is operated remotely by a puppeteer.
Okay.
With like a radio signal that's another. The puppetry is so good. This all looks so good.
After you get over how completely disturbing it is, the craftsmanship is good, obviously.
I just love seeing just everything is tactile. Everything was in front of the camera.
Okay, but, I mean, clearly Jim Henson spent all of his time on the turtles and the rat, and then, like, oh, what, you need a snapping turtle and a wolf?
He was dead. He didn't work on this movie. It was his company.
I thought you said...
It was his company.
Oh.
But he died. This movie actually opens within
that explains.
loving memory of Jim Henson.
Yeah, I know, but I thought that was added later.
So they put all their energy into the Turtles and Splinter, and
Yeah, I didn't find if they were like real second tier. The wolf and the snapping turtle.
Oh, I don't agree.
Oh, you're so.
I
like the pointy parts of the snapping turtle, but the wolf looked fucking crazy. And why in the hell, if you're going to put ooze on something and they're going to equally, why do they stop at a certain height? Why the hell is the snapping turtle the same height as the fucking wolf? They would not be in real life. The wolf should be bigger and scarier.
You ask the hard questions. Yeah, the wolf is definitely not scary enough. That's the worst looking one because it looks too much like a stuffed animal.
Yeah.
And too rubbery.
And a permanent smile. The smile was very big bad wolf with like saliva coming out.
But they were not going for scary. In this behind the scenes thing I watched, the producer of the movie was very open about how they got some criticism from parents because the first movie was too violent. Okay. I don't remember the first movie, but I do sort of remember it being a lot darker in tone. Maybe it's sort of got like a Batman Returns 2, Batman Forever, and Batman and Robin sort of thing.
Yeah.
Let's make it a lot lighter. And they pointedly, the turtles do not use their weapons in part 2. They have them, but they only use them like once a piece. Whereas like if you're a kid, you're like, Leonardo's got the swords. Like that's the defining feature. And in this movie, they never ever use
Not
them.
many things can be used on a movie that make me want to instantly imitate the way that nunchucks do. Like as soon as I see someone play with a set of those, I'm just like, I'm gonna go try that now. So I could definitely. You can't pass a pair of those up and not just see if you know how to do it.
I couldn't disagree more. Like
they just look like you could do it. So I could see that would be an issue for parents having little boys getting all hyped up seeing that and then just trying to fucking use a broom and use it.
Yeah, I remember my brother injured a boy at Indian Guides, at an Indian Guides meeting.
What the fuck's an Indian Guides meeting?
Like a companion thing to the
inappropriate.
Sure, companion to the Cub Scouts program or something.
You guys couldn't make
where you
Cub
dress
Scout?
as Indians.
Oh fuck! Okay.
Yeah, and yeah, no troubles there about about. There were not conversations about cultural appropriation back then. It was just fine and fun.
I get it.
And my name was Brave Rainbow. And
did you name yourself?
Sure.
Of course you did.
Yeah, I was really into rainbows at the time.
I know.
My brother came along with me to a meeting, and the house where it was being hosted had a pair of nunchucks, and my brother took them and swung them around and hit another boy in the head and injured him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, looks like you could do it.
So they pointedly take them away in this movie.
Okay, but then it's still a fighting movie, so
but
it's just weird.
Fight with yo-yos and rubber clowns and stuff.
At best, the humor in this movie touched on like a Three Stooges kind of quality, but where it was most of the time was like Paw Patrol level.
Yeah.
I'm blue and brown and pink and green.
And sort of like placeholder, we'll think of more specific Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle joke to put in later. Like they use a lot of surfer lingo. So let's try and yes.
That's a great point. I just would like to point out that all 4 of the turtles were raised by Splinter in the sewer, sheltered, except for one sounds like he was raised by Joey Bag of Donuts, and the other one sounds like he's raised by Spicoli from Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I'm walking here. Totally did. Righteous.
Yeah, he did not grow up in California.
What? Either of them. The other, I mean, even the heavy, thick New York accent isn't earned. Where is it from? Splinter doesn't talk like that.
No.
How much conversation are they hearing down in the sewer?
And where do they get their pizza from?
Oh, I thought that thing was because that's something that gets thrown in the sewer. I mean, not by you.
But it always looks like they have a fresh box of pizza.
Well, in the movies, but I think the origin is that it was stuff that they could find on the street.
Okay.
I'm just saying that. I have no idea what I'm saying.
Okay.
Yeah, but I
sense.
mean it.
No.
People leave pizza and I used to throw away pizza all the time before I met you.
You're a monster.
I know. But who's going to feed the turtles?
The humor's grating. It is very off-putting and abrasive, and it's the thing that is wrong about the movie.
I have a whole theory.
Okay, you can go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Well,
you really should.
I'm sure that my enjoyment, because again, I said there's a lot that is good about this movie, even though I think it's a really, really bad movie.
What did you enjoy?
I love how tactile it is. I love how small scale it is, how physical it is, how there's only a few sets. I love the aesthetic. I love that it takes place in garbage dumps and
I do like that. And
abandoned subways and
the subway is by far the thing I liked the most. The idea of setting up a home inside of something weird appealed to me greatly as a kid. That would be why Swiss Family Robinson was one of my favorite movies. Like, oh, I'll just make a home here.
Yeah. Which you love to do.
I like to nest.
But you also like to move.
Yes.
I like to do both.
Yeah.
So, like, we've lived in this house for 5 years, and I feel your agitation.
Well, that's why I want to freaking convert the garage. I need to move downstairs.
You need to tear something.
So that in 2 years I can move upstairs.
Put something new.
And then maybe on top, maybe one of those Rubbermaid, like, shed things from Office Depot, or we'll build a pool house.
So that is what I like. I just like all these aesthetics, and I don't know if it's because it's just tapping into a nostalgic part of my brain that remembers this.
If this were stuck on this movie and you'd never seen, there's no way you would tolerate it. I mean, I
don't tolerate it. I think it's bad.
All right.
But I think that there's things that our kids watch that I hate watching, but still think are cool. Like, I think there's a lot of cool things about the Cars movies.
Yeah.
Even though I don't like them.
Right.
And it's when you contrast it with everything that comes out today, where everything is made on a computer.
Okay.
And everything has huge stakes.
How about this? How about if you contrast it against everything that came out around it? It's a fucking shame. This piece of garbage. Mm-hmm. Okay, so it came out in 1991. And by the way, it's listed as number 49 on the all-time best kids' movies of the 90s and 80s. That's fucking bullshit. They must not have made very by a listicle.
Okay.
And okay, so you've got Little Monsters, 1989.
I hate that movie.
So much better than this fucking movie.
Probably.
1992, you got Three Ninjas. I remember that being decent. I'll bet it's awful though. Home Alone, 1990. Addams Family, 91 and 93.
Don't know it.
The Addams Family?
That's something we need to talk about on the show, right?
Oh fuck yeah, no.
People think Addams Family Values is better, don't they?
I do. Yeah.
I think that's a universally held.
Well, then I'm with the
maybe
universe.
Let's do that as the next episode.
Okay. 1992, The Mighty Ducks. 1993, Free Willy. There's more.
These are all bad movies.
1993, Sandlot. Ghostbusters 2. Problem Child. Harry and the Hendersons. Beethoven, Hook, The Sandlot, I already said Sandlot, Princess Bride, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, and Back to the Future, and Problem Child. Those are all fucking way better than this.
Well, wait. You just went way further back in time than.
No, I only went
Back to the Future 1985.
I only went back to the Future 2. I only went back as far as 87. That's the furthest I went back, and the furthest I went up is 93.
I'd say you named 3 good movies. This is just a bad time for kids' movies.
Dude.
And this is a bad movie. I'm not saying it's a good movie.
Well, and I mean, and when you look at all these movies, a lot of these I was thinking this is a kids movie because like the problem child. Certain movies just have such a negative tone to them that they don't. I mean, this one's a lighthearted, fluffy piece of nothing. So I could get in the way that I liked the other movies I vouched for because they didn't make me feel bad about myself or didn't make me think heavily about the world. Okay, yeah, because these other movies are kind of heavy.
Wait, I've never seen Problem Child. My impression of it was it's an R-rated horror movie, like Chucky or something.
No. It's just a fucked up kid who's annoying.
Oh, but
we should watch. That's one of mine.
He doesn't kill anybody?
No.
Oh, I thought he was the killer.
There's no killer. No.
I thought Problem Child was the killer. I thought he was like a Child's Play.
He just has red hair, and that's not his fault.
Oh.
We should watch it. I wonder if they're still good. I love what's his nose. The guy from Three's Company. I love him. I can't think of his name. Yeah.
So your point was that much better movies came out at this time?
Yes, I'm just saying like you didn't have 0 options.
Yeah, I know.
All right then. Addams Family. With the crap you were watching, how'd you let that squeak by?
I don't know. I remember seeing some of it and there being a scene where a kid smokes.
Yeah.
And that was really off-putting to me.
Oh, okay.
Like, ooh, that's bad. That's really bad.
Got it.
I was just the mention of cigarettes or cigars when I was a kid.
Instant cancer.
Really freaked me out.
Yeah. Dare did a good job.
What else you got on your notes?
Well, I've got my metaphor. I've got my overarching metaphor for this movie and why it appeals to men of a certain age.
Go ahead.
Because the entire thing is just a metaphor for puberty. And I can prove that because they are 15, which you couldn't pick an age better to put yourself in the most awkward transitional period. By 16 is when you get to drive a car by yourself. So anything before that, you're a kid. So being 15 fucking sucks because you're still thought of as a baby by grown-up people, and you're too big to play with little kids when you're 15. What do you do with yourself? You start looking for the meaning of life. So what you do. All right. Donatello's little B story is like, what does it all mean? Where did I come from? Is it special? And it's literally about where you came from, dude, is that you went into a puddle of shit and you went from little to big, which is exactly what happens when you go to puberty. A switch comes on and everything's awkward and weird.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
That's the other really big problem with this movie is nothing gets developed from a story standpoint. You have that sort of
Seems
really
like they're
half-assed,
going to, yeah.
Where did I come from? And then it's like, came from Ooze, who cares? And then that's it. That's the end of that storyline. You have the storyline where Kino's going to infiltrate the Foot Clan, and he does. Oh my god, he's going to succeed. But then they find out 1 second later, and then that storyline's about.
Right, 1 second later, like, oh, I was hanging out with a turtle. Now they know. So why did you bring the turtle
right.
on your first fucking infiltration?
And he just sort of lightly crouches down behind a car. There's like
they escaped to the sewer
things.
by lightly crouching down behind the car. An entire group of them, just want to say.
And they could easily just go down into the sewer too and follow them, but they don't.
No, but the big turtle got stuck.
Well, they could pull him out.
He's big.
And then go in.
Took time.
But that happens like 5 times. Okay. Sorry, go ahead.
That's okay. Let's see. They have yearning to do things that adults can do, like leave the house, but they're not ready. They're not allowed to go out without supervision, but that's all under the guise of, you guys are fucking mutant turtles. They won't understand. No, you're too young to handle yourselves in public. April is a stand-in for how they still need a mother, but they're flirting with the idea of also wanting a girlfriend one day, so she's like oddly both, and it's weird. It's because she's playing both because they're having to struggle with both. They have the ability to do adult things, martial arts, but they don't do it nearly as well as they think they do, and they don't do it responsibly. They don't make the best of that's, sex. Let's see. Okay, the name of the fucking movie, The Secret of the Ooze. That's just semen. And the secret is, when you use it, you grow a turtle, or you grow a person, or maybe when you're 15 and you finally have like porn in front of you and you go, that's it? Like this whole time I've been waiting to understand what the fuck sex was or what it feels like or whatever, and it's just a big bummer after you find out. I think so, because it's built up. I mean, I guess it depends on when you first do that as a boy. When do boys do that?
When do boys have sex?
It's all over the place, right? I'm just saying.
Wait, hold on.
It's like a huge deal in your brain, and then you do it, and you're like, ugh, thought it was going to be like something more interesting.
I have no idea because I was definitely not a boy. I was a man.
And was it like mind-blowing?
I don't want to talk about it.
All right. One with me. But all right, I'm just saying, The Secret of the Ooze. Could they have come up with a word that sounded more like jizz?
I will just say that ooze played a big... Maybe this doesn't contradict what you're saying. Ooze plays a big part in the Turtles mythology. It's there from the beginning. It's the thing that transforms them into big mutant turtles.
And the whole entire comic book, everything, it's all about transitioning from a boy to a man. They don't even have revealed private parts. Their costumes are designed, I mean, it's supposed to be, like a turtle stomach on their front. This makes sense, except for the crack goes all the way down into a V shape, giving them camel toe. So they're literally walking around with vaginas.
Yeah.
And at the very least, they're walking around with a hard shell that doesn't allow them erection.
No.
So they're in this weird... They're not superheroes. They're fucking, they're controlled by a rat who, by the way, grew up at the exact same time as they did. So why is he 500 years older?
Because he was already a mature
old rat,
and they were baby turtles.
Okay, so
because he learned karate and martial arts by watching his master do it. Before he was mutated, he was still smart enough to learn martial arts.
Because everyone knows that watching something means you can do it.
Yeah, well, his master would train in front of him, and he would copy what his master was doing.
That sounds adorable.
I know. And there's a scene in the first movie where they show that, and I looked it up, and it was just as adorable as I remember. Little rat doing it.
Oh.
Let me ask you.
Yeah.
Your metaphor is beautiful.
Thank you.
Do you think that what you're describing sounds more like a 10-year-old or an 11-year-old prepubescent?
No, this is why 15 is so frustrating. You do not get any of the respect that you should get, or that you feel like you should. But even if you did, if you got the ability to do whatever you wanted, you'd make a stupid choice because you're still a fucking kid. It's the cusp age.
No,
it's why
15.
No,
you're already
okay. We've been watching Home a lot, right?
The movie Home.
Yes, and Tip. That is the only age they could have made her. She's 15, and that's because she's got a driver's permit, which is why she drives shitty, but she's allowed to drive.
Let me clarify.
It's old enough for her to be left home alone for 2 weeks, and young enough for her to say things like, I'm just a kid.
I'm sorry.
What is your point?
Boys. I think 15-year-old boys are angry and hormonal. Whereas the energy of this movie is like an 11-year-old boy who wants to pizza and party and maybe is kind of interested in sex, but like also really put off by it. Is kind of like going through a growth spurt, but the brain is so far behind what the body is like suddenly they're really tall and awkward.
Yeah, okay, fine.
Whereas
I guess 15, it's earlier. What, 15 you're a fucking man?
You like you're.
What were you doing at 15? Going to the Ohana
I looked exactly the same between age 15 and age 19. I looked exactly the same.
I don't know if you're the right.
I think most boys look the same between 15 and 19. But
okay, but your privileges are vastly different from 50. So what good is it to have a man's body by 15 and not get to do any of the manly things with it? I'm talking about the frustration of being a true in-between transitional age.
Yeah, I agree. I'm just saying that you win. The manic energy is, I think, much more 11-year-old than 15-year-old.
That also fits my metaphor. The pace of this movie is so fucking frustrating because they are bouncing off the walls, way too hyper annoying. Then they get into some kind of sequence where I'm like, fine, I can put up with this energy. And then Splinter needs them all to goddamn sit down and talk real low and listen. And I think that must be what it feels like for any kid. Playing. Now you have to be calm. Okay, right now we're going to sit down. It's time to eat lunch. Playing. And now we're going to be calm. Because now it's time to sit down and we're going to have lunch. That proves your point more, but you're not making a fucking 10-year-old take a nap.
That's kind of charming. I kind of like that they have to. I like that they have to keep sitting down and taking lessons.
I like the flips. I'll say that's the only thing I like.
And then doing flips. Couple things, interesting things. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles comic was created as a sort of response and a parody of the really dark comics of the early 80s, in particular Daredevil. And it's an unacknowledged or unofficial spin-off of Daredevil. The car accident that turns blind attorney Matt Murdock into Daredevil while he's walking and a car hits him, and then he gets radiated by some ooze. And this comic presupposes that same canister also radiates some baby turtles that were there at the same time. And then Daredevil's mentor is a man named Stick.
Okay,
and so the turtles is Splinter
of the Stick. Yeah, okay.
And Daredevil fights the hand. Wait, the hand? Yeah.
And
they fight the foot.
The foot. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that's, I don't know.
There you go.
There you go.
And I mean, the tone of the good and evil stuff, I mean, it's super ripoff of Star Wars, right? I mean, Splinter is ridiculous. Not Splinter. Shredder. Oh, he shreds the sticks. Okay.
Well,
he's ridiculous looking. They're like, his face. He's got 2 cuts.
Yeah.
What are they talking about?
I know.
Oh, his face. It's covered up like you can't even see it.
When you're a kid, you don't know. You don't know that
that he's got a voice thing in his thingy, and that's the reason
when they say his face is gross, you're like, well, I guess it's a gross face. I was scared of him when I was a kid.
Well, yeah. He doesn't seem
Mama? you're certainly, I mean, yeah, it's all very Star Wars-esque, but Star Wars is like every sort of archetypical
okay, but he's got the journey. I mean, he's got the voice changed thing, and then the rat's like a Muppet with a coat on. I mean, with his little...
He's wearing a samurai armor.
He's just
Darth Vader was also based on a samurai character from The Hidden Fortress, Japanese samurai movie. And anyway, Star Wars and Turtles were both influenced by Japanese myths.
Fine, they can do it too then, I
One
guess.
final thing.
Oh.
Do you know, and I don't know the answer to this, do you know when the concept... When do you think the word ninja became widely known in America?
I have fucking no idea.
And is it because of the Ninja Turtles?
I highly doubt it. I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know.
You think I would know?
You just said you did some research.
I didn't do that.
No.
Research
I was
ninja
trying to
origins.
find out. I was just trying to find out. Because suddenly ninjas were everywhere. Beverly Hills Ninja.
Three ninjas. Sidekicks. Ninja Turtles.
The karate... Well, the karate... But an interest in martial arts really took off.
I looked that up too. And there's not as many martial arts movies as you would think. I mean, it just seems like there's a lot. But that's because it's a very specific thing. You could say, you know, how many movies are around restaurants and you'd find the same amount. It's not like a crazy amount.
So you don't think the data would bear out that there were no martial arts movies for a long time and then suddenly a lot?
No, yeah, because I thought that was true too. And I looked, it's that not for kids anyway. I feel like there was a ninja boom, but there's just 2 movies. 2 or 3. 3. It depends on how many years count as a... I would say something, you know, covering a 2-year span, enough to see a movie and go, I want to make one, and then make it into the next year. Mm-hmm. But anything wider than that, I don't think you've got a boom.
This was definitely a trendsetter for, like, Saturday morning cartoons in that so many imitators came along. The mutated animal cartoons, the biker mice from Mars, the street sharks.
Oh, the BMM.
Yeah.
Street sharks?
Yeah.
You're saying these things like you had any idea of them before you researched it today.
I was a big biker mice from Mars.
You're so full of shit.
No,
That's
I'm
not a thing.
I actually watched it. I liked it more than the Ninja Turtles.
I've never heard of it.
Whereas the Turtles like pizza, the biker mice from Mars loved root beer and hot dogs.
Seems like you'd...
I think they also had a female human companion. Right. But they were giant mice, and they biked. And they had antennae on their heads.
Wow.
I don't remember Street Sharks. But no, I promise you, I loved this show.
Okay.
So, it's your face red.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this movie sucks. I apologize.
We didn't make them watch it.
I apologize to you, Lacey.
It was the hardest thing you've made me watch so far. I think even worse than Beavis and Butthead.
I was about to say worse than Beavis and Butthead.
Yeah.
It's so hard to watch a movie with you like this because, like, I hate this movie too, but I'm feeling you're 6 inches away from me, and I'm feeling.
I cannot believe we were fucking doing it. Every minute that we were spending, I felt myself getting closer to the death, and then wondering why did I spend this time doing this?
Because you're like, there's only so many minutes in the day, and we're doing this.
Yeah, and I wanted
really
to
have to still be watching this.
We're watching Better Call Saul, and it's great.
We could be watching that.
And
instead, we're watching The Secret of the Ooze.
Oh my fuck! And after 10 minutes of it, I was like, I get it.
Mm-hmm. And after 10 minutes, I was like, wow, is this a great movie? Because after the high of that opening, I was riding high. I was like, this is. We're cooking with gas right here. Yeah, once the turtles show up, I'm not so crazy. But hey, as long as they're not on screen, I really do like them.